Good morning, everybody. Today we will talk about a new lesson in the biology book for grade 8, which is talking about facing extinction. First of all, you will see a link on the first slide. I want you to watch it, copy it on the YouTube, then watch it. And in this video, you will see something about Guam Island. You will see something about how they facing the extinction of birds. Watch the video and then we're gonna continue. As you see in this slide, the title is The Story of a Guam Bird. I introduced the Guam Island and then I mentioned the story of the bird. Guam is an island in Pacific Ocean. Before 60 years, Guam was full of birds. Brown tree snakes reached the island and the birds began to disappear. Most of bird species extinct now. The snakes ate them faster than they could reproduce. In this slide, you will see the two types of species in the Guam Island. The first one, invasive species, and the second one, lost species. Let's talk about the first one. Like the snake, invasive species, the one of the species or the living things that came to other lands and start to destroy it. How? Look, we have, or the living thing or the species must have two conditions. The first one, reproduce quickly, and the second one, grow quickly. If these two conditions not exist, they will not success the process, or they will not be invasive species. So they survive in a wide range of habitats, while in the original habitat their offspring couldn't survive because they faced other predators. The invasive species eat anything and beat other species in the competition for food and spaces to live. Okay, here we have a food web. This food web represents how the living things get their food by this food web before the extinct of birds. So look, we have leaves, fruits and seeds. We have on the second stage the herbivore, seeds and fruits eating birds. We have insects and bats, and then we have the third stage, the spiders, lizards, and insects eating birds. So this is the distribution of the birds and other living things according to the food web. Okay, so the birds on Guam had no predators before the snakes arrived. They had no defenses and nowhere to hide. Species are more likely to become extinct. The jungle on Guam is full of spiders now after the extinction of birds. Some of these spiders were eating or were feed on the leaves, eating insects, so which is good to find the spiders to eat all the insects that eat leaves, and that's how can we save the trees in this Guam Island. Some spiders are eaten by lizards, but lizard numbers have fallen since the snakes arrived. So spider numbers are much higher than they were before the snakes arrived. Scientists think it is good thing there are so many spiders leaf eating insects with strips the island vegetation if the spider weren't there to eat them. And you will find on the student book, page 193, the food web after the bird extinct. I hope to open your book and see the food web after the bird extinct. The slide here is about the page in the student book. The page 192, I highlighted the important lines. The first paragraph about the Guam, the story of the Guam Island and how birds extinct. So then they mentioned for you the invasive species. So the characteristics of invasive species, they should reproduce quickly, they should grow quickly. If these characteristics not exist, so they will not succeed. And then you will see a food web about how animals distributed to get food or to get their needs before the bird extinct. Then the last lines in this page, look here with me. Please, I want you to open your book, page 192, and listen to me. Here, the birds on Guam had no predators before the snake arrived. They had no defenses and nowhere to hide. So this is why they were extinct quickly. Species are more likely to become extinct if they are only found in a few places and they reproduce very, very slowly. Guam birds were wiped out by predators. And then they mentioned to you that scientists thought the number of snakes would drop once all the birds had gone, but their number kept on rising. They just swapped to eating other animals, so they replaced the birds after extinct with lizards. So that's why they still exist and they still reproduce and grow quickly in this island. Okay, please, my student, open with me page 193. In this page, distributed food web. After the extinct of the birds, and the birds no longer eat the spiders or compete with them for insects, some spiders are eaten by lizards, but lizard numbers have fallen since the snakes arrived. So spider numbers are much higher than they were before the snakes arrived. Scientists think it is a good thing. There are so many spider leaf eating insects would strip the island vegetation if the spiders weren't there to eat them. So this is here on the right. You will see the food web after the extinct of birds and how the living things distributing in this food web without birds. Look at with me first the fruit, seeds and leaves, then the insects and bats, then spider, lizard, and lizard also. We have a few number of lizards here because the brown tree snake ate most lizards. So look at how the animals distributed in this food web, and on this paragraph how the food web before the bird become extinct and then they mention to you or they wrote to you how the food was distributed after the bird became extinct. Then the second paragraph in this page, long-term consequences. In this case, long-term consequences, which is very, very important, because as you know, birds play an important role to feed disperse. So look at with me, when plants and animals share habitat, they often become interdependent. More than half of a Guam tree seeds were dispersed by this bird. So look how the birds are important. The birds ate each tree's fruit and then dropped the seeds somewhere else in their feces. Now there are no birds. Seeds fall under the parent tree, and as you know, they compete with these parent tree on sunlight, so there is no enough sunlight, on water, so there is no enough water, and some minerals in the soil. So the chance or no chance to grow if they fall under the parent trees. They no longer get carried to gaps in the forest where they could replace fallen trees. So this is why it is very important, or this is how the birds are important for this Guam Island and the trees on this island. Finally, the scientists should remove the snake or the snake species. We have many steps to remove them, killing them individually, destroy their habitat using a predator or disease to kill them, interfering with their reproduction, or destroying the offspring with toxic chemicals. All these ways to help Guam Island to survive. Finally, please, I want you to solve question page 193, and if you have any question, just text me. Thank you for everything.